Hey guys, very good evening to all of you. I hope I am now audible to all. Great, thank you so much. I would request all of you to share your name in the chat window or just type your name in the GoToMeeting. Okay, Ruthvik, now I got you. Uh, yeah, of course, I can see Milton your name, but there are some people for whom I cannot see their names, so it's difficult to connect. Okay, all right, guys. Okay, Sanket, can you hear me now? I'm hoping I'm audible to all others. So I'm so sorry. I'm just typing the phone number in case you're not able to hear me. So I'm just okay. All right. So Sanket, can you hear me now? Oh, great. So you just muted me, is it? Uh, all right, guys. So formally, a very warm welcome to all of you on session 3 in Web Analytics. Uh, I can see good number of people have joined the session. A great number it is to begin. I can see more people joining in. Great. So that's okay. Any questions, any doubts from the previous session? Are most welcome now, as Sanket has already shared or started sharing his doubt. In the meanwhile, while he completes writing his question, let me give you a quick recap of what we have done until now. We have started with the philosophy, the three school of thoughts of analytics. Then we spoke about the keywords every analyst must know. So just spoke about uh, users, visitors, bounce rates, and whatnot, and all of those things. In the second session, we spoke about configuring the tool so that we could take off the airplane from the runway and we can actually fly. So in order to get the reports that we want, we should learn configuration. We spoke about filters, we spoke about goals, we also spoke about the digital marketing measurement model, without which we cannot even begin. We should know what we are measuring and what is the report card of the marketing team looking like. So this was session 2. Session 3, I'm hoping all of you have gone through the video, done the quiz, and have also done the tasks. If you have not done the tasks, that's okay. Hang on for a while. Maybe some of it we will do today. Sanket is saying session 3 was huge. So Sanket, the idea is always, in fact, I always say that in all my sessions, recordings also, that take as many breaks as possible. You may want to listen to 10 minutes and go have a cup of coffee or probably sleep few hours, come back, and then spend another 10 minutes. In fact, I'm thinking of breaking all the sessions down into rather 10-minute videos, which are easy to grasp and you know that you've finished a particular concept. But until then, um, keep taking breaks. That helps, actually helps. Okay, so now Sanket is saying apply advanced filters to discover 3 cities in India that have maximum bounce rate. So Sanket is saying, how do we do that? Okay. Is there anyone in the session who would like to show how it is done? I can share with you the presenter rights. You don't have to speak. If you want to speak, most welcome. But is there anyone who could help do it? Don't worry. Even if you don't know how to do it completely, I'll be there to guide. So Sanket, why don't you try? Are you on mobile or are you on a desktop? Can I share with you the presenter rights, and then I'll guide you how to solve this, how to actually achieve this objective. Would that be all right? Okay, great. So now comes the real deal of hands-on. So I'm making Sanket the presenter. So Sanket, you will now quickly receive a download link. to download and share your screen. Now Sanket is going to teach us how to find top 3 cities with maximum bounce rate. Yeah, so Rutvik is saying there's a new segment added to the analysis segment. Okay. Can you explain what that is? Lifetime value. Yes, Rutvik, it's so new, though I know the concept, but I don't know what Google Analytics is trying to achieve there. Maybe my next session, I will try and learn what it is. It is so new, probably it was not there a couple of weeks back. So I need to do my own homework before coming back to you. Though we can today talk about the lifetime value in detail. Avin is saying would like to learn more industry-wise case studies on bounce rate. That is, when should they be good and bad? Okay, all right. There is a quiz question about a real estate industry, Avin. So let me also spend a little more time around your question. All right. So Sanket, we are still waiting to see your screen. Okay, now we can. Great. I'm hoping everyone else can also see the screen. Great. So now you are at the Google Merchandise Store data, which is the raw data view. Can you click on the top left corner which says raw data view on the drop down? Click here. Go to the master view. Can you see on the right side? Yeah, master view. Click there. It's just as a more little refined data, that's all. Okay, great. All right, so now we want to see top 3 cities with maximum bounce rate. Now we are already looking at the cities data. So Sanket, if you look at this data, on under the acquisition tab, you see users, and next to that, there's a down arrow, which basically says that the entire data is sorted according to the descending order of number of users. If you click there again, it will be ascending. If you click there again, it will be descending. So if you just click on bounce rate, all the cities will then be sorted on the descending order of bounce rate, where you will see the top 3 cities or top 1 city or whatever that is in descending order. So now the question is that let's say if you want to do some city specific campaigns so that you could reduce the bounce rate of the entire website. So which are the top 3 cities where you will go and do some city specific campaigns? Are these the ones that are shown here, which are Oranjestad, Tirana, Al Ain? So I don't even know how to pronounce them. Are these the top 3 cities where you will go and do this campaign? Because the bounce rate is 100%. What do you think? Yes or no? So now let me rephrase the question. I think because we just started, Sanket is saying yes, but I don't believe in that. So let me just rephrase the question so that everybody is on the same page. See, the question was, Sanket, can you scroll up and go back to the geography data, the country data. Can you click on the country, scroll down. Do you see country there? Just next to the city tab, yeah, click here. Yeah. So now the question is, let's say within a certain country, yeah, click on users box also again. So the question is, let's say you are running a website where the bounce rate is increasing from the last few, let's say, weeks or months. Now your CEO or the chief marketing officer asks you this question, that I want to find out top 3 cities where the bounce rate is high. I mean, this can be not only cities or countries or states, but it can be around which gender, which age bracket, and so on and so forth. The bounce rate is high. Why do you want to find those cities where bounce rate is high? Because you now want to target specifically those cities, do some very focused campaigns in those cities so that engagement could increase, and then the bounce rate of those cities can come down, and eventually the bounce rate of the entire website could come down. That's the question. Now, let's say, so Sanket is now telling us how to find those top 3 cities with maximum bounce rate. Let's say we are targeting India. So can in the country tab, just go up, Sanket. Do you see a search tab on the right side of this table on top? Just start writing India. Do you see a search tab? Yeah, here. And click on enter. Scroll down. You see a country named India there, and that says 4,163 users have come in the last selected date range, whatever the date he has selected. Click on India, please. Do you see India icon? Yeah, click on that. Yes. So now it will show all of those states within India where my traffic is coming from. Now, since I've already filtered India as a country, can you click on city next to region there? The city tab on top. Yes, click there. So now we are finding, let's say, top 3 cities in India with maximum bounce rates. To do that, now let's go and click on bounce rate box. So this is how you massage the data here and there. Click on the bounce rate box. And we have arrived on the top 3 cities with maximum bounce rate, which are Nellore, Dhanbad, and Jamshedpur. Sounds familiar cities. Now, are these the top 3 cities where you will go do city-specific campaigns? I would say no. I will not do it here. Why? Because the number of users from these cities are too little for me to make any sort of expensive decision of doing a city-specific campaign. Maybe even bots. That's right. So now I will use something called as advanced filters. The question is about how to use advanced filters in order to make this data a little more relevant. So can you click on advanced next to the search tab and include where you see city on the drop down, click on the drop down and just start writing sessions, SESSIO. Do you see sessions there under e-commerce? Yeah, click on sessions. Let's say now you want to see only those cities from where the number of sessions are greater than 50. Now click on apply. Now you will see suddenly data will start to make a little more sense. You will see Noida, Indore, Chandigarh, Lucknow. Now the bounce rate is high in these cities, of course, because the number of users are also there coming from there. Maybe this is your target city where you will try and impact or do a city specific campaign in Noida, Indore, Chandigarh. Now you will also correlate this data with some other data, maybe your gut feel, maybe a data that is not in your Google Analytics dashboard yet. You will correlate this data with where you believe you will find your customers. So assuming you are a merchandise store in this case, not assuming you are a merchandise store where you sell merchandise of Google branded t-shirts and mugs and whatnot. In this case, where do you think you will find more customers? In Noida or in Indore? This is based upon where do you find the young people more who would like to associate themselves with merchandise from Google, and they're probably techies. They would want to be associated with the brand of Google. So where are the most tech jobs in the top 4 cities you can see here? I would prefer Noida over Indore because I know this is where my target audience is. Noida is a place where people travel from other parts of the country to this city to probably gain some education, work experience, work with some companies, and then so on and so forth. So this is the hub, as opposed to Indore, which is a growing place. Now the question came, will I not do it in Bangalore? You may want to do it in Bangalore, but it looks like, based on what your question or the business objective is, you will keep that in mind as opposed to jumping to Bangalore. The city of Bangalore does not appear in the top 10 search results, top 10 results here, because maybe your engagement is already very high and the bounce rate is low there. So why do you want to impact a city which is already doing good? So therefore, the idea of filtering your gut with data is here. Because imagine if there was no data, you would have targeted Bangalore anyways. Now because there is data, it's telling you this is the bounce rate database, and of course, you will take decisions from here onwards. So Sanket, do you know, so now do you get comfortable with, by doing it yourself, on how to do this? Great. Now should I take back the presenter rights, or you want to show something else to us? Okay, I'll take back the presenter rights. Thanks. Okay. So now again, there are a few concepts I would like to share. Now, Eben is saying, so only a well-established and funded business can afford to make the choice of targeting higher bounce rate places to improve their company's brand image. Or is there any other situation as well? See, even the situation shared here may make you feel that you may want to use this particular table there. But let me tell you something about growing companies. Okay, so there are many examples, though maybe. Okay, so one of my B2B client, okay, B2B is business to business, but unfortunately, sometimes when we talk about B2B or B2C, we eventually are stuck around the words business and customer, or business and whatever, clients, or whatever you want to call it. But we don't go beyond the word B and C to actually realize that any business that happens between people to people, right? Now I want to talk a little more about one of my clients who started offering Salesforce consulting services to not-for-profit organizations across the world. This company is based out of Hyderabad and Bangalore. How many people work in this company? 12. 7 are based in Bangalore, 5 are based in Hyderabad. Collectively, they are saying we are so niche. What is Salesforce? If you don't know much about it, it's a software company, to be very, very oversimplifying it, because people may be here from different backgrounds. It's a CRM, a cloud-based CRM, where they want to service a very niche audience of not-for-profit organizations, maybe NGOs, initiatives or movements or volunteer movements across the world. They are, by the way, in the same market as Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Accenture are. But they're a growing company. So when they do some content marketing, they write about how to use Salesforce for social good and how you can use Salesforce as a software to improve your farm productivity and work with farmers and even weavers and artisans and handicrafts and so on and so forth. You will obviously attract a different kind of people, where you will not look at bounce rates even. You will look at which are those cities where people are showing interest in me. And we found that there are certain cities within India, and which are of course, the places where there are export houses and people outside. And in fact, there were many brokers in Africa, which was not on our radar, who would like to buy from Indian market and then sell it to other parts of the world, branding it African, because African handicrafts are considered more. I'm just giving you some industry data. African handicrafts are very famous, and maybe some people living in Africa, some IT hubs there would like to use your softwares. So you will observe where my target audience is coming from. You may want to observe, even if you've gone through the video, the interests and the in-market segments of my audience. The high value audience So while you are targeting your audience to on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, you know what kind of people would like to come on my website. So you'll target those cities. Yeah. With respect to analyzing bounce rates, so let me share with you another case study, guys. So we'll just, of course, we don't need to recap. We've all gone through the video. Let me directly jump to a report. I don't know whether it still answers even your question, but it's very interesting. So let's talk about it. How many of you are aware of brands of Art of Living and Shri Shri Ravi Shankar versus Sadhguru and Isha Yoga? Have you heard of these names before? Yeah. All right, people have heard. So Shubham, don't worry, we'll talk about cohort in a while. Yeah, so these are new age, emerging, evolving global brands. And in fact, we know Patanjali as a product. You know, people in Hindustan Unilever and Procter & Gamble are now surprised, hey, how was this market there and we never saw it? And some Baba is coming out there, and all of these companies are now launching um, organic equivalent of their products. The packaging is now different. So everybody is competing in that space. They've lost interest in the Dove market, but they've started interest in Patanjali, the 10 rupee soap market. So what has happened in the last few years is that these brands have started emerging like nowhere else and like crazy. So I happen to analyze data for some of similar brands, though I have permission to share the story but not the data, is that when we looked at audience demographics data of Sadhguru and we looked at gender, so what happened there is that we were earlier surprised by looking at this data. I'll tell you what was the surprise with us. Is that from 2015 mid onwards, before that this feature was not available. It was a new feature when we were doing this case. We saw a good upsurge and downsurge in female audience. To be very honest, I thought that this data is corrupt. It cannot be. The pattern looked very similar to what you see right now, but of course the numbers were huge. This is only dummy data. So the male versus female audience, I mean, if you just ignore males for a while, male audience were consistently increasing from 2015 onwards. But female audience went up till around mid 2016 and from there onwards started declining. And that was a reason for a worry with one of our analysts. And while he was looking at it, he didn't share the data with others. Maybe he thought he's not inferring it correctly. Then we correlated this data with a Facebook audience. Facebook Insights shows male versus female demographic distribution. Uh, and then we correlated that data with our YouTube audience. These gurus have huge YouTube following. For the connect happens very well when you listen to them as opposed to read their blogs. So therefore, YouTube channels are amazingly successful of these gurus. We saw a similar trend there. And then we shared this with the business team, of course. Not a disclaimer here is that I am not sharing my spiritual uh, preferences in this class. I'm just talking pure business. And these organizations have very well designed devotee management system as opposed to customer management system. Now, when we were analyzing this, we wanted to take it on the field and check our hypothesis. So we stood in the ashrams and different locations and we saw the kind of audience that are walking in. And we could see the similar trend. The number of females over a span of 6 months also showed a 3 or 4% decline. Very tiny, but supporting our hypothesis. And then the marketing team realized that not only that it is decreasing, but the bounce rate of female audience is higher than the male audience. Then we realized that unconsciously, unintentionally, the content we push out in digital media specifically is not gender neutral. It is not even gender agnostic. The examples and the stories and the satsangs and all of those stories that we share on YouTube and even in our ashrams have more relevance in male audience. We talk more about masculinity of our devotees as opposed to the feminism and so on and so forth. Now this is absolutely not the vision of Sadhguru or Isha Yoga, but it was very well received by their team or their content team. And they realized, of course, this is not what we intended to do. We are a very neutral organization, and hence they learned from data and became gender neutral. Now, not only they don't mention, if you can, now just go to YouTube videos and see how that content has been changing. They are now more gender neutral, and if they are taking examples, they are taking equal number of examples just to ensure that female audience are taken care of. So this is male versus female distribution, and bounce rates can also tell you about the interest level of a certain audience. Now, very similarly, unlike, in this case, Art of Living, where the female audience was anyways more than male. So it was a complete realization. It came out in our face that, females don't like Isha Yoga as much. So, of course, they're improving on it. Now, when we looked at the age distribution and the bounce rates and, their engagement on the website, how long do they stay? It again came out very, it was this time a good news for Isha Yoga as opposed to Art of Living, where we saw 18 to 24 age bracket is a large number with Isha Yoga. So even if you look around and ask your friends who all are a fan of Sadhguru / Isha Yoga, you will see the youngsters talking about that guru. Not that I believe in it, but I've seen this, I've observed this a little here and there. Also came out in data. But with Art of Living, you will see a large audiences between 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. So I would say young adults versus adults. Sadhguru has managed to attract young adults like nobody else. And this is also good news because then you are going to be in business for a long time. That means a newer generation is coming and trying to become your follower, as opposed to the previous generation or maybe little senior people who are exposed to Art of Living are exposed to only that. They don't want to shift. So this data can completely change the way we look at our outreach, guys. And these are just maybe 5 different rows for you, but they are very important for some organizations. So now, for example, on this website, which is Market Dynamics, it says 25 to 34 is giving me 71% of my revenue. It may also mean the number of donations coming from that particular age bracket for certain guru websites. But in this case, it also looks like 50% of the audience on my website does not have anything to buy. They're not able to afford anything on my website. That's an opportunity lost. But I also know my high value audience is 25 to 34. So I will target these people specifically in all my marketing campaigns. So just wanted to share these case studies. We can share more. Any questions regarding this? I will pick the other questions which I missed. So somebody asked about cohort analysis. So let's talk about cohort for some time. So in the video also I've spoken about cohort a little, but what is cohort? Any guesses? Any if you've gone through the video or not gone through the video, what do you mean by the word cohort in your own language? Life cycle of a user, Eben says, okay. Grouping. Group, okay. Then what's the difference between the word group and cohort? Timeline, bunch of same behaviors, same type. Absolutely right. So cohort basically means that, yeah, I saw the next question. I'll come to that later. Cohort basically means a set of people who behave similarly when you look at them from a certain perspective. But if you look at them from a different perspective, they may not behave in a similar fashion. So for example, this batch of 10, 15 people, okay, 11 people, they have a common characteristic that all of them spent their Tuesdays 8 to 9:30 learning about analytics. But if I look at you from a perspective of profession, some of you are students, some of you are already great marketers, some of you are learning analytics, some of you are actually not in the marketing business at all, you're trying to shift. So you don't exhibit similar behavior or there is no common characteristic in terms of profession. But in terms of your interest towards digital marketing, all of you are on the same page. You are a cohort for me. Maybe tomorrow morning, 7 of you may go to a yoga class, and by Friday evening, the rest 4 of you will go to a party. Then this cohort transformed into 2 different cohorts. One that loves yoga, the other loves party. And of course, many things can translate from there on. And how do I want to learn from your yogic experience and your uh, party experience that I know about your behavior in those spaces? And how can I make you learn analytics and marketing better by knowing that you also belong to those 2 cohorts? So that's how I infer that data. Now, simplifying this a little to layman words, that when I start talking about trigonometry to 10 standard students and I observe their behavior, do they like trigonometry over algebra? Then it's a group behavior I'm studying and not individual behavior. There might be one person in the group who might be different. They may say we love trigonometry, but overall the class is not very excited about trigonometry. Right? So in this case, in web analytics, it says imagine that on any given day, if you have 100 users on your website in terms of percentage, by day 1, on an average, by the next day, you retain only 0.36% of those users. The rest do not come back. That does not mean that they are not interested and will not come back in future. But by day 2, 0.87% of people come back. By day 3, 0. And by day 4, certain percentage, day 5, a certain percentage, and so on and so forth. This basically talks about the stickiness of your website, short-term stickiness. Now, if I look at this website data, let's say this data is for bsnl.com, where people pay their bills. We want any new user to come on our website and make their bill payment and leave. Because on our website, we have nothing else other than letting you make payment, monthly payments. So we would love to see from day 1 till day 7, 0%. Because if there are people coming back on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, that means they're facing issues in making the payment. On the other hand, if we are digital Vidya and people whom we acquire on a certain day, to increase the engagement with them, we will make them sign up for a newsletter. By day 1, when after the sign up, on day 1, there's a drip email marketing that starts. By day 1, they ask you to come back. Day 2, another email goes. There's hyperlink to come to our website and so on and so forth. Then we reach out to their Facebook page and we send a promoted post. So we want people to come back to our website in certain cases. In some cases, we measure ourselves by not having the stickiness. So now here it gives me day by day data of whether people are coming back to the site or not. On 21st July 2017 on my site, there were 32 users. On day 1, 3.12%. That means on 22nd of July, 3.12% of these guys have come back. That's all it says. So cohort is the behavior of the group. In this case, the grouping has been done on the basis of acquisition date. Does that answer your question of cohort? What does the cohort actually mean? This is also in beta. Hopefully you will see more cohort types in future. Now, Rutvik says, can you explain active users a bit more, please? I caught the basic point that it is the number of users at a given time. But what would be the minimum time for Google to call him an active user? There's no minimum time, Rutvik. An active user basically means the user has waited long enough uh, to load the Google Analytics code in the header. How long does it take? Maybe a fraction of a second. So if Google Analytics knows that a user has come, that is an active user. So the word active basically is not about how long they have stayed, it's about whether they have come or not. And it's more about the word user than about the word active. So if you look at this active user thing, it lets you do a comparison, a long-term trend chart of growth versus degrowth over different time ranges. That's all. So basically what you're saying is when you look at the trend chart of anything, then you don't judge yourself on how do I say it, on some failures or successes. You would like to have a long-term view of things. In this case, for example, let me select a large date range. Now, in fact, a smaller date range here. Let's say 3 months. If my website was not performing well on a certain time, that's okay. I would be able to see the long-term view of things. So for example, at this moment, look at this particular rate where 1 day active users, 7-day active users, 14-day active users are decreasing, but the 30-day active users have gone up, which means that's okay if in a short period of time you're not performing well. Overall, you have given yourself time that when you look at a longer picture, the collective user base has increased. Now Rutvik says if there are more active users and bounce rate is high, then users clicking my link unintentionally. Is my conclusion right? Uh, I would, I'm afraid I would like to disagree with that. I am not saying you are wrong, Rutvik. So I'll give you a situation. So one of my real estate client has a website where they do very niche projects. Each of their property starts from 5 crores. They don't do a 50 lakh, 40 lakh flat or maybe 1 crore flat also. They do only villas, huge size villas, and people buy it for their holiday homes and so on and so forth. Now in that case, when people who are rich who come to their website, they don't have time to read through your content. Maybe they have come from Google or maybe directly entering your URL. And what they do is that on the top right of your website corner, you will see a phone number. What these guys will do is they'll just open the website for that phone number, copy that phone number, call you, and exit the website. Now, they are not there unintentionally. They are very much interested in your website and your project and your product. And in fact, they went there only to get your phone number. So the entire journey of going to the website and fetching a phone number is successful. So it is not unintentional. It is dependent upon the context, as opposed to another real estate client of mine which sells a lower middle class. Middle class is the target audience, where the flat starts from 30 lakhs to 70 lakhs. We know an audience in this age bracket will do a hell lot of research, maybe read your website 50 times before calling you, where my hard-earned money is going. And of course, you will also keep everything out there, try to show your trust, build that uh, rapport with the customer that we will provide your property in time and we'll do good quality work and so on and so forth. All of these are very necessary in that segment. And there are many examples, Rutvik, where bounce rates being high is independent of your content quality. So look out for those avenues where you can find that inverse correlation or no correlation. Okay. Now Sanket is saying, how does Google Analytics recognize age and gender? Please explain real time. Elsa is saying, okay, I'll pick up these two questions one by one. These are very interesting questions, both of them. Uh, Ruthvik is saying Gmail. I don't know how Gmail gives age and gender. My website does not let anyone log in. There's no login feature on my website. So guys, the question that is asked by Sanket is, how does this website, which is Marketonomics or even Google Merchandise Store or any other website of your favorite website, know the age and gender of people who come on my website? Disclaimer, I am not asking people to log in and tell me their age and gender, but the data still shows up on my Google Analytics dashboard. So let me understand from you, what do you think how it happens? Any guesses are also all right. Okay, everything crawlers work in reverse, also track of users and accordingly use an algorithm. Okay. IP address. So Sanket, are you saying my IP address would tell me my age and gender, or Evan is saying using some algorithm? So Evan, you are stereotyping gender. So are you saying that if I am searching more about cookery, or if I like to make new dishes, I will be identified as a girl, versus if I go to sports websites, I will be considered a male? No, that's not the case. So Noel, I'm agreeing with you that Google has my data while I sign up for Gmail. But how does it matter? Google knows the age and gender when you sign up there. Marketonomics is different. Where is the connection? So you may say when I go to youtube.com or gmail.com, they will know whether a male has logged in or a female. They're all Google products. But Marketonomics has no connection with Google. Okay, Ruthvik knows it all. He's a super analyst. So guys, if you look at your top right corner of your browser, it says your name. Just check whether are you logged into your browser. If you are, with your Gmail ID and password, of course, with your Gmail Google login, and you are using Chrome, which is again a Google product, to access any website, then that data will get passed on to the website analyst. And remember, when you signed up to create your Gmail ID, you have given your age. In fact, you've given date of birth and gender there. But keeping in mind the privacy policy of analytics, Google does not share anything which is private. The data is shown to you in anonymized and aggregate format. And hence you see a bulk data and not individual data. Now, Avin is saying, what about Firefox, Safari? I'm not logged in. So is that why it shows undefined in genders sometimes? Okay, it never shows undefined in genders, by the way. I was coming to that, Abel. So let me rephrase your question, Abel. There are many people who are not logged in. There are many people who are using some other product, who are not associated with Google at all. They were frustrated. They're not even using Android. So there is no way for Google to know who am I. So what is that thing that will show up here? How is Google confidently saying there are 5 categories in age and 2 categories in gender? Why is there no third category talking about could not determine or not applicable or something? Why is Google so confident that this is the right distribution? So in order to explain that, can I please deviate from this topic and then we will come back. I want to talk to you about something else which is very important for an analyst. Then we'll connect this thing with that. How many of you know about bell curve or normal distribution? Have you heard of this thing before? What is a bell curve or a normal distribution? Have you heard of it before? If yes, where? We'll be more than happy if you could unmute and talk. Okay, MBA, HR analysis. Okay. Yeah, that's true. All HR. Your pay hikes are given on bell curves. In linear and logistic regression models, oh my God, too much. These are 3, 4 heavy words you used. Okay, let me talk about what bell curve is and how analysts or how analytics helps. Let me go to a whiteboard. So the normal distribution of bell curve is simply this, layman words, is if you plot anything on x-axis and y-axis, assuming they meet on 0, 0, horizontal is x and vertical is y. If you plot anything on this graph that takes the shape of the bell, then and only then you can extrapolate this data over a larger population. So let me give an example. What does it even mean, right? So let's say you took a small, simple question paper on mathematics and picked some random people on the street who said, yes, I study in 10th standard, and you give them that question paper to solve. And let's say when you looked at their scores, the average of all those people who took that question paper was, let's say, 45 or 40 marks. Maybe it was a difficult one. Everybody got, average was 40. And of course, there were some intelligent people who got 100 on 100. There were some dumb students who got 0 on 100. But by the virtue of 40 being average, you will see a large number of students in your sample would have gotten a score around 40. That's why the average 40. And maybe the first standard deviation, okay, forget about the word standard deviation, maybe you will see a large number of people getting the score between 35 to 45. Now, what does this mean? This means this is also called the law of averages. On an average, everybody in the world is an average. This is called law of averages. So maybe they have copied, probably. But you know what? Maybe they have not, but still they're around the same score. That's how humans live. They're all average. Now, what does this mean now? What do we do with this data? It means that now, once you've established this graph, you can then take that question paper anywhere and then say, without even asking a 10th standard student to even answer it, without giving that question paper, you will evaluate that person and say, hey, you know what? If you answer this question paper, I am sure with 80%, 80% accuracy or 90% accuracy that your score will be between 35 to 45. So that is trying to make things simpler. The world is very complex. The student may not get between 35 to 45. And maybe even if the person gets 35 to 45 in between that, we don't want to be sure about how much. We are trying to make the complex world a little simpler one by doing averages again here. Now it is observed that the number 30 is a magic number. Now what does this 30 represent? It says that on an average, if you take 30 responses of any survey, whether it is 10th standard, whether it is a question of whom did you vote for, which party do you think will win, or all those exit polls that show on news channels, or any random survey that some MBA student will ask you in a mall to answer some questions. Their target is 30 respondents, because the moment they get 30 respondents, the shape of the curve automatically starts to become like a bell. Now it may not be a smooth bell, it may be some zigzag plus bell. If you take 300 responses, it will take much smoother. 3000 will make it even more accurate, and 30,000 will be even better. If you actually reach the entire population of people whom you want to cover, it will be smoother. Now, why am I talking about all of this? It is that only when you get the shape of the bell, you can extrapolate this data over a larger population, else you cannot. Maybe your curve looks something like this. Still the average is 40. Maybe your curve will look like this. There are no average people, everybody is intelligent or dumb. Or maybe your curve looks like this. In any of these cases, you will not extrapolate the data. You will continue to take more responses. A straight line is absolutely not possible in this complex world. Now simplifying all of this and taking this Gyan back into web analytics in the age and gender distribution here. Trying to simplify it so that maybe a 12th standard kid could also learn is that if there are even 30 people logged in to their Chrome browsers while accessing my website, that is enough for me to extrapolate that data over a large population, because 30 is a good sample size. So if I look at a large data, it says, you know what, the total number of sessions on your website were actually 64,974. But Google Analytics says we have accurate data of 19,551. You did a percentage on that and not on 64,974. If we were to do it on 64,974, sorry, we don't have data. But you know what this also tells us, male-female distribution of percentages may not be very accurate. But the opposite of accurate does not mean it is wrong. It is directionally correct to make decisions. So maybe the actual male percentage on my website is not 50.05%, it's 48%. And female is not 49.95, it's 52%. But how does that matter? You know the order of magnitude, you can make decisions on it. And hence, you don't see a third row. And this is how Google Analytics know by age and gender and also extrapolate that over a larger population. Does that rests all the confusion? Or is there more? Yes, Eben, very interesting. See, you know what? We are all in a phase where we are learning analytics tools. It's like learning how to drive Maruti 800. It's very easy, but once you learn it, rest assured you can also drive Audi. Or you can also learn to drive Mercedes Benz or even Ferrari. But you know what? Once you learn to drive a Maruti 800 or a smallest possible car today, you will realize as you mature towards better and newer cars, not that any trainer will teach you how to ride an Audi. You will discover very interesting things in new cars. And also because you are maturing, you are driving new cars. You know what, not only Google Analytics, you will know more as you drive it more. As you go to newer tools, you go to Adobe, you go to Crazy Egg, you go to other tools like Alexa, rest assured you'll be able to drive those tools like nobody else. Very easy because you know Maruti 800, you know how the functionality works. You will continue to be a hero in all the tools, but there will be these moments. Hey, this is very interesting. Kind of moments will keep you at it, and this will come via self-learning. If everything is taught by a trainer, then of course you are in a very bad space. You should start to learn yourself as well. All right. Any more questions? There was one more. I think I missed it. Any questions did I miss? Please share or copy paste again. Okay, but can you tell us what is the commonly analyzed reports from most of the companies? Elsa is saying real time. Okay. So let me show real time. It's a very quick thing, Elsa. So real time basically tells what's happening on my website right now. Right now, what's happening. So for example, let me do a simple exercise of um, campaign URL builder. Okay, so ignore what comes on your screen in next 30 seconds. I just wanted to show you something. We will do this in details in session 4. But I want to show something very quickly to you, what real time does. So I'm sharing this URL in the chat window. Please click on it. and you will actually end up on the same website where I am, right? I'm hoping. I want all of you to click on it, right? Now, if I look at the analytics data and real-time overview of this particular website, it tells me there are people on my website right now. 4 of you have come. 2 of them are from desktop, 1 from mobile, 1 from tablet. And then where are these people right now? They're on which particular article? 3 of them are on the home page. Okay, 5 on home page now, 1 on a consumer behavior article. And which part of the country people are coming from. Not only that, if I may want to look at traffic sources, I will now learn, maybe in some time, this data will populate, where one of you have come from organic search. Maybe you didn't get the website right, or maybe there's an actual user on the website um, who has come from an organic search, and 7 of you have come directly on the website. So real time basically is a place where you will see real time stuff. You may want to click on that demo website as well, which you already have access to. Master view. So right now on this website, which is Google Merchandise Store, there are 25 people on the website, and of course, which all pages they are on. So real time gives you exciting information, live commentary of your website. Now let's do a tiny little assignment together to also connect to Rutvig's question of what is the commonly analyzed report for most of the companies. Let's take a random company today, or maybe the same company which we have taken the second session around. Okay, let's again open the same one, which is brigadegroup.com. Now we have a 10-minute quick exercise, and after that another 10 minutes of uh, sharing a case. So Rutvik, I am counter questioning you, and I'm saying, imagine you are the advisor to the chief marketing officer of brigadegroup.com that sells residential, commercial, and all of those blah blah blah. What are the top 3 reports? And imagine the data that you already have of Google Merchandise Store. This data belongs to Brigade Group. Why I'm doing this connection? Because let's be more grounded, more real to a company that is Indian, and we'll be able to connect with it better as opposed to Google Merchandise Store. What are the top 3 or 5 reports that come to your mind first when you log in to this company's dashboard? Be creative. Don't think around users, visitors, time spent on the site. They're very basic, though they are important, very basic. You would have gone through the video, and now some exercises, some examples I've shared today. It's almost 9 p.m. in my clock. Spend some time. I will be on mute for 10 minutes. I'll ring a bell at 7 minutes. Keep your answers with you, and then I will ask you guys to share your answers exactly 10 minutes from now. Don't hurry things up. Spend time on the website. Be very, very careful of the top 3 reports that you would like to go show to the chief marketing officer of this company. So Shubham, the assignment is simply this, that if you are the advisor to chief marketing officer of this company, which is brigadegroup.com, what are the top 3 reports you will go with a printout of to this marketing officer and ask this guy to, hey, why don't you look this? This is important. And have that conversation with the marketing guy of this company. And this is the link in the chat window. I will now keep my mouth shut for 10 minutes. We meet at 9:10 sharp for another 10 minutes of doing this. See you guys after 10 minutes. Bye. Hey guys, I hope you've done some work. Let's see who goes first. Sanket, would you like to share? Okay. Oh my God, a lot of people have shared a lot of information. Location report, campaign report, interest report. These are the three I will ask. Okay. Location because I am only available in specific location. I want to see if I'm reaching there. Campaign report because I want my campaign to reach the right user. Okay. And interest report because my customers are typical users with specific interests. Cool. Mohan says reports of users from city to target campaign accordingly. Report of source, organic, Facebook, Twitter, etc. to optimize particular channel. Reports of goals in order to explain how many people booked requested for demo. Good. Anyone else who would like to share something apart from what has already been shared? Behavior flow. Okay. Good. Very nice. New things are coming up. People use the contact form and those who bounced from which pages. Okay, which pages are bouncing people from? Very nice. Okay, so great. So not that I know of there is a right answer or not, but there are a few things which people usually look at. So let me just open that presentation. Hang on for a while. I'll put you on screen freeze. Let me pull that PPT out. Hang on. Give me a minute, guys. So there was this report, in fact, there was this presentation done by one of the audience, one of the participants in one of the previous batches, which I quite liked the kind of research that has gone into making this presentation, and hence kind of using it here today because the question came up today. The first thing this guy said I look out for is mobile visitors, and I feel that a website should we should stop calling a website as mobile optimized websites. We should rather be mobile first and then optimize it for web. Now there was this very interesting conversation that happened is where one of the speaker at a conference told that mobile apps, I mean by 2020 we'll be an app free world. And I was surprised. I mean, in 2017, everybody is talking about app, and you're already saying in 2, 3 years there will be app-free world. There will be no more apps. So I was surprised. In fact, I was shocked. How can there be an app-free world when we're moving towards that today? So of course, this person spoke quite sensibly about how even today one app gets downloaded at the cost of another uninstallation. You will either have to be a Facebook or Amazon or Uber of your industry. If you're not that, then you don't get space in a mobile. But you do get access by mobile browsers. So in future, what people are expecting is that people will be able to transact over mobile applications, or over mobile websites as opposed to mobile applications. So rather than saying, so if you talk about what is mobile optimization for a website, it means however the website looks on the desktop slash laptop, it is a better representation of that data on mobile. This is not what the real world of mobile first should be, where you don't optimize that information for mobile screens. You show what a mobile user would like to see. So one of my NGO client who talks about waste management, talks about Swachh Bharat, talks about hiring waste picker services for recycling waste, large organization actually. So when you go to their web browser website, it's in detail. How do you segregate waste campaigns and run your own volunteering drives and so on and so forth. But if you go to a mobile device and access the same website, it's no more optimized for mobile. It just has one button: hire waste picker services. That's all. So think of a world where you could transact. So today, if you go to Uber.com, they will say, hang on, download a mobile app and then book a cab. Now that's Uber is forcing us to do. And the experience on Amazon.in on mobile and in fact even in app is very different. So for any of my clients, I would like to see how the mobile usage has been increasing or decreasing over time. So for example, where do I see this information? I'm sure all of you are aware of this. Let me close this. Oops. Yeah. So what you do is you go to mobile, look at overview, and this is where you see how mobile adoption of your business has been increasing, decreasing, or been constant. You will see all of it here. So if you see overall user base, you may want to select mobile and just plot the rows and see if there has been some more adoption. So this is one thing which I would like to see, and I would encourage you to see whether it is going up with time or not. It might be a very slow adoption for a certain your audience. It might be very high adoption. We have examples where Myntra went and came back to desktop. So all of these are interesting cases. Then the next thing I would like to see, which has also come already, is that where am I getting my users from, and whether am I getting money from my investments. Now the detail of how do you generate this report of returns on investment is session 4. But today I see where am I acquiring sessions from by default. So if I'm not getting more session from organic search, so let me either spend more or not spend at all. That completely depends on how I infer it. But if I see a lot of traffic from referral, then I need to run my affiliate marketing well. I need to reward my referral clients. I need to reward my affiliate partners. And maybe design a completely new strategy for my referral partners. I will look at which is the most engaging content. So what are the content magnets? Now this data is from a real estate website where this client of mine has been speaking about many different properties. If you see, there's home pages on number 4 actually. Then there are different property pages. Each of them represent different projects available out there in Bangalore market. But if you look at number 1 and number 2, they're basically blog posts. They basically, and look at 50% of your audience, in fact, after GST time, GST implementation on taxes, are still looking for service tax and VAT for apartments. Probably now they're thinking that, once we've already paid half of it, now what's the case? So you see the kind of content you create, you really see whether people are valuing that or not. So now you know what kind of content you should write more. What is it that is being valued on your website as is, rather than doing a research. Then keyword analysis report, what are the keywords people are typing in uh, to come to your website. Now Ruthvik's saying yes, but for real estate website, I still believe that a user would come to take time to search it through a laptop or a desktop. Mobile would be just an initiation. I might be wrong though. See, Ruthvik, what is happening these days is no matter how complex the transaction is, things still happen on mobiles. So one of my client, I'm sorry I can't name it, but I can tell you the industry. You might just guess the name. Is in furniture renting business. Now imagine the amount of research goes into, funding. In fact, paying upfront for a sofa, for example. Uh, I'm talking about furniture rent, not furniture sales. So when you are renting, of course, then you would like to see that image. My client says, people would like to see sofa on a bigger screen before they would like to order, or they would like to compare it with other websites. They would like to see 10 different products on my own website. For all of this complex navigation, you need desktop, or you need a laptop, or you need a tablet at least. 63 to 65% of their audience is mobile, even finishing the transaction, making payment on mobile. So not only it's initiation, in many cases I believe it is initiation, and then you go on to other devices. But there are people who would like to finish their transaction. See, you know what? It also depends on what age we are of. So today, my nephew, who is studying in 11th standard, is very comfortable in reading Wikipedia pages. But my elder brother would still like to take a printout of that Wikipedia page after reading the first 4 lines of it. When you talk about my father, forget about it. He still doesn't know what Wikipedia is. Now you talk about maybe the younger generation who has never seen a laptop. They're given tablet devices or mobile devices in their school. So it's all about, are we that generation who is facing the transition? The newer generation will not even see the transition. They will start with mobile, they'll live there. So talking about keyword analysis report, talking about new versus returning in terms of whether you should choose retargeting as a strategy, because returning visitors are actually buying more as opposed to new visitors. So rather than getting a stranger visitor on your website for the first time, you rather focus on those visitors who have come once, make them returning so that they can buy more. And then so on and so forth. Of course, there are more reports you would like to see, but yeah, it all then goes into details, which I would now leave it to you as opposed to believing in my analysis. So these are the few reports I would like you to focus on. So guys, I hope today's session had some value. If not, say that in the feedback. If yes, say that in the feedback. Very important that you give feedback to us so that we could improve our website. Now improve our experience here. The analyst in me came out actually. So anyway, do not forget to come in the last session. Is very, very important. It primarily talks about two things. One is about measuring returns on your monetary or effort investment. So if you spend 5 lakh rupees on Facebook, whether are you actually earning more than 5 lakhs from Facebook audience, or is it the Twitter audience that is buying? So you'll measure the returns on your investments. The second is about sharing credit with various acquisition channels. So maybe a user has come on your website from Facebook but did not buy, then came again from Twitter and did not buy, then came from an emailer, came on your website and bought a product worth 10,000 rupees. Now, do you think that email was so beautifully and brilliantly designed that it triggered a sale? Or do you think that Facebook and Twitter did some build up? So now the 10,000 rupees sale actually should be, the credit should go to all three mediums and not just one. So we'll talk in detail about, now should you reduce your Facebook investments or actually increase so that your email could actually work better. So all of these details and more in session 4. All right. Mohan says how to group audience and cohort. So Mohan, we don't have much flexibility there, but how do you group? You group them by acquisition date or week or month. So the cohort size you can change. So you look at a week audience, or you look at a month audience, or you look at daily audience. That's all you can do with it. But cohort type is today only on acquisition date. All right, guys. So I'll just break it here. I know 1.5 hours for analytics, maybe a little over the top. I would like to keep the sessions short, but let's see if it's still digestible. Then let's go. Sanket, so the audience keeps changing, right? Of course, it keeps changing. So in this case, if you see here, 1st April to 30th April, there were 54,000 users, as opposed to the daily one. But see, the group size becomes now bigger. So if I'm assuming that Sanket and Rutvik come on my website on a certain date, and then let's say someone else comes on a different date. Let's say Mohan comes on a different date. But if I consider a weekly data, then I will consider 3 of you as a part of a single group. You came in the same week. Okay, guys. Good night. Have a good dinner. Don't think too much about data. When you have specific problems, all of this, all of this gyan will come out and will give you right answers to your questions. So, Sanket, I don't know what that means. Are you What are you abusing the session or what is that? All right. Anyways, thank you so much. This is the feedback link. Don't forget the feedback, and then I'll Google what Sanket just said. Okay. All right. See you guys. Bye bye.